Welcome back to the DSR channel. I am covering the UA that just came out today. I'll finish this today and I'll get back, I think, at least the Origin Feats video tonight for the new book, Heroes of Faerun. And this UA has some of my most beloved subclasses from the prior to 2024. So I am super excited that they're updating these. And this video is going to be on the Path of the Storm Herald Barbarian, which I love. I always wanted this one to be awesome, and that Storm Aura just wasn't good, which is their premier feature. So I'm glad to see that they updated it, and I'm happy to say they've improved it, but it still needs more work. There's clearly some mistakes and errors, and some things are just way undertuned. So it needs more work. And I'm always worried when I fill out one of those feedback surveys to give it like, hey, it's not quite good enough, because I'm worried that they take it as, oh, it's garbage, throw it away. No. This is the right direction. Give it some more. Okay? It needs a little more juice. All right. Path of the Storm Herald Barbarian. Wield the fury of the storm. Barbarians who follow the path of the Storm Herald learn to harness their rage into a mantle of primal magic that swirls around them like a storm. When in their rage, these barbarians tap into the elemental forces of nature to create powerful magical effects. And we're going to skip the design notes. Level 3 Storm Aura. And I'm going to skip all of that setup because it's a lot at the beginning of Storm Aura because it's completely identical. I couldn't find anything different, okay? So we're just going to skip down to these effects of that you can choose with this. So you have the desert, the sea, and the tundra. So the desert has been improved. Well, they've all been improved. So desert. When this effect is activated, roll a number of d4s equal to your rage damage bonus and add them together. Each creature in the aura must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take fire damage equal to the number rolled. You can choose one creature you can see in your aura to automatically succeed on this saving throw. Yes. Okay, great. Both of the issues that were big issues with this thing have been improved. Is it enough? I'm not sure. Okay, so previously you didn't do 2d4 damage, and it's your rage damage bonus, right? So it's now this column. So at level 3, you're going to do 2d4, which will upgrade to 3d4 at level 9 and 44 at level 16. Okay, so a big damage improvement because before it did 2 damage at level 3. At level 5, it was 3 damage. At level 10, it was 4 damage, right? Come on, level 10, 4 damage, 5 at level 15, and 6 damage at level 20. All right. Now 44 is only 10 damage on average, but that's still nearly double what they had before. So that's an improvement. Is it enough? Now it's an AoE, so I think that's okay. I think the damage range is okay. And they fixed the other part, which was previously you had friendly fire and you couldn't do anything about it. Now you can exclude one creature, and that's great. Frankly, I think they should just let you choose. Just say creatures of your choice in the aura, right? And be done with it. You do not want to if more people in the party want to be frontliners than just one other person besides a barbarian, why not just let them, right? Because then there's gonna have to be this whole conversation about, well, you got to stay back or you're gonna get hurt, and that's just not good for the fun of the group. Okay, just let it be. Choose any number of creatures of your choice. Okay. C. When this effect is activated, roll a number of d6s equal to your rage damage bonus and add them together. You can hurl a bolt of lightning at one creature other than creature you can see within your aura. The target makes a dexterity saving throw, taking lightning damage equal to the number of d6s rolled on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. Okay, so this is an increase in damage so like I showed you on the rage damage table, right? This one, number of d6 is equal to that. So it's going to be 2d6 to start. Then it's going to be at level 9, 3d6, level 16, 4d6. So that's a big improvement. Whereas before it was 1d6 at this level and then didn't upgrade at all to level 10. And at level 10, it went to 2d6, 3d6 at 15, 4d6 at 20. So it actually ends at the same number, 46, but we get there way faster and without a huge gap in scaling. They still get a dex save. And this one upgrades nicely again at level 14. So, hold for that. I still think this is not enough, right? The fire aura is a whole AoE every round, and these take your bonus action to activate every turn. So you're using your bonus action to activate these. So that's an AoE of D4s. This one being a D6 is only slightly more damage, and it's a single target. So this should be at least D8s, in my opinion, or it needs to scale fast. I would say make it a D8. Yeah, because you're going from a AOE hitting potentially, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 targets around you because it's a 10-foot emanation, to going to hitting just one. Yeah, this needs to be at least D8s, guys. So fill out your surveys and tell them they got to increase the damage on the sea. All right, then the Tundra, when this effect is activated, roll a number of d4s equal to your rage damage bonus and add them together. You can choose one other creature you can see within your aura to harry with icy spirits. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw or it subtracts the number rolled from the next damage roll it makes before the start of your next turn. And previously it was they got temporary hit points, a tiny amount of temporary hit points, but it was an AOE of temporary hit points. But it was still not good enough. Like 2 temporary hit points, guys. Like that was no good. So I like the attempt at the redesign. The mechanics of this are not good. Have you ever tried, like DMs out there? How many times have you had an effect that is applied to a monster now, and you have to remember to apply it later? And I don't just mean a regular debuff. Like there's the debuffs you're used to using. Like okay, they have disadvantage from sap, or they're slowed from this. You're used to using those. Something like this, where you just have to remember, okay, the next time they hit, they have to subtract this specific number from the roll. That sucks when you're DMing because that could be like half an hour later, right? Like depending on what level you're playing and how many players you have, that could be a really long time. So if you don't have like really good notes somehow, you're going to forget that number. And frankly, let's be honest, guys, we forget half the time anyway. I just played a session and I forgot a number of things. So it is hard to keep track of all that stuff. So I like the idea. I like the design. I like that they're not just doing temporary hit points again. As much as I don't like temporary hit points, right? This is not a good mechanic. Needs improvement. Level 6 Storm Soul. Completely identical. No change. So let's not read it, okay? Unless you can see something I missed. It's identical. I couldn't find even there's some wording changes. Like the Tundra one says as a magic. I mean, they all say magic action now instead of just as an action. They took out those snippets for desert and sea that talks about you don't suffer the effects of extreme heat and cold. Or sorry, that was desert and tundra. But that frankly is built into the base rules now. If you have resistance to fire, you're immune to the effects of extreme heat. And if you have resistance to cold, you're immune to the effects of extreme cold. So that's already in the rules, and that was just redundant. So there's no point in reprinting that. Just save some space. So other than those, changes that have no mechanical impact on what's going on, identical. And all right, so let's move on to level 10, which is the Shielding Storm. And once again, other than, in fact, I'm not even sure this one, it has a little bit of wording changes, otherwise identical. Every creature within your 10-foot emanation, your storm aura, you can also give them, each creature of your choice, right? Of your choice, come on, do that for the desert level 3 ability. Each creature of your choice also benefits from the same resistance you have. Identical. All right, so let's go on to level 14. Make sure I get it all on there and it's not blocked by my camera. So level 14, this one they changed a lot, which is good because it wasn't good before. So the level 14, the Raging Storm. The power of the storm you channel grows mightier, lashing out at your foes. The effect is based on the environment you choose for your storm aura, which you can change, right? Desert. Once per turn, when a creature you can see fails its saving throw against your storm aura effect, you can cause it to start burning for 1 minute until the rage ends. A burning creature takes an extra 1d4 damage, parentheses 2d4 damage total, at the start of each of its turns. So that comment, that clause in the parentheses makes no sense. There is no reference to burning in other places. There is no D4 that this is being added to. So that looks like a note that got printed and not corrected. And by the way, 1d4, causing them to burn for 1d4 at level 14 is nothing. That needs to be really increased. And I don't think 2d4 is enough, guys. So if that was what you're thinking, like somebody's note was like, oh, this should be 2d4, that's not enough for a level 14 ability. Even though you might, you could be making multiple creatures burn. You hit this one this turn, or you use your storm aura and these guys fail. I guess it is an AOE. So if on round 1 you cause multiple enemies to burn, they all start taking an extra 2d4 at the start of their turns. No, I still don't think that's enough. Like that's just not great for level 14 ability. It needs to be more. Like 2d10. 2d10, guys. They start burning for 2d10. And maybe add the clause that says something like, if they spend an action, they can put themselves out kind of thing, which is a typical burning clause. So let them put themselves out, but it's got to take an action. Otherwise, they burn for 2d10. Now, that's a level 14 ability. The old version was garbage. You could do use your reaction after a creature hits you with an attack to cause fire damage, equal to half your barbarian level. So you could do 7 fire damage with your reaction. Terrible. You do not want to be wasting your reaction on something like that. You want to use your reaction for Sentinel to hit somebody again, or some other kind of, hopefully, an attack. And you're using hopefully a great axe with cleave or a halberd, so that your reaction with attack can cleave also, right? That's what you want to be using your reaction for. All right, let's go to the C. Whether the target fails or succeeds in its saving throw against your Storm Aura, a bolt of lightning leaps from the target to another target of your choice, which must be within 30 feet of your first target. The new target makes the same dexterity saving throw as the first target. This one I like. If they increase the damage of the level 3 C ability, right? If you make it D8s, now you're hitting 2 targets for those D8s. Now this is pretty cool, right? And I'm glad that it jumps to the second target regardless of what happens with the first target. So no matter what, you're going to get 2 people. And the cinematics of this barbarian with just lightning storm, lightning flashing around them, and they're hitting people, and bolts of lightning are jumping to the, not just to the person they hit, but the person, or the first person they hit with a lightning bolt, but people behind them. Awesome. I mean, that's very much like Thor, right? You could play Thor as a Storm Herald of the Sea. That would be super cool. The old one was garbage. You could knock them down if they hit you. It's just, what the heck? So much improved on the sea. Tundra, once per turn when a creature you can see fails a saving throw against your Storm Aura effect, you can cause it to take 2d4 cold damage, and its speed is halved until the end of its next turn. Is that better? I don't even know if that's better than the old version. The old version, you can choose a creature. You don't even have to, they don't have to fail a saving throw against anything. Once you can choose one creature within the effect of your Storm Aura when you activate it, right? So it's a bonus action on your turn. And that creature just has to make a saving throw, and its strength saving throw, or its speed is reduced to 0 until the start of your next turn. I think they made it worse. I mean, who cares about 2d4 cold damage at level 14? That's an average of 5 damage. And then have its speed. Dude, freeze it in place so it can't move. They made it worse. So that one needs a lot of improvement too, because you can only use your cold Storm Aura on a single creature. Yeah, you could only do the Tundra Aura, Storm Aura, on one creature at a time, one creature per round, your turn. So overall, I think that they made the Tundra worse. It's just worse than the 20. This is Xanathar, so we're talking 2017, but it's the 2014 version of D&D. So they made it worse. All right, but I like the attempt, and I'd like to see if they can make this work. So yeah, they should go back to the drawing board and make it better, make it a lot better, and make it an aura, something that happens chill everybody around you, causing everybody to have disadvantage or something like that on their next attack, or I don't know what, but make it an aura and make this one better, a lot better. They all need improvement. Okay. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.